I guess you can start now. Sophia, are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, so my name is Lawal Sophia Talabisi, a graphic designer. So the topic of today's section is the 8 fundamental types of graphic design. Next slide. So what I'll be treating today is what is a graphic design, the virtual identity graphic design, population graphic design, marketing and advertising graphic design, packaging and graphic design, environmental graphic design, user interface graphic design, motion graphics, and then art and illustration graphic design. Next slide. So what is graphic design? Graphic design is the communication skills focused on the visual interpretation of the in a message. Just like what we want to create a flyer, the message that comes from that flyer is what we mean at the visual interpretation of the message to the audience. So it's the question of the visual composition to solve problems, yes, and communicate ideas through the typography, imagery, color, and the form. We have various types of industry to make the right decision. So just like what is the types of graphic design? So the types of graphic design that specialize on, they are the visual identity, the publication design, the marketing, and the advertising design, the packaging design, the environmental design, user interface design, motion design, and then art and illustration design. So we're going through all these types one by one. Next slide. So, what is visual identity? Just the way for consistency, as just relationship between the business or organization and its audience. It's the collaboration of the brand partner to create access like logos. So in this sense, we talk about more of brand guideline, or I also call it style guide, or we can also call it brand manual. So it's just the way in an organization, there are some things that the organization needs to focus on in terms of your typography, your image, your color, logo. So it should be consistent because that's what the organization, the brand will be working through. And for the future application. So it's just like in this design, it's just like using one color, using typography, typography is also font, yes. So in case of you don't know, it's font. So just being consistent with what the brand is all about. So not moving into another, using another typography to design or using another color to design that is not what the brand is. So the next slide. So publication graphic is just one of the publicating or work. So it's work through editors and publishers to create layouts with carefully select typography and then accompanying arts, which include the photographic and illustration. So this is more of printing process, and this okay. Now there's this thing, so and also digital. That's so there are examples of these things is newspapers, because publications, they pass through editors, and the editors will be they are the one that review the work. Maybe it is a magazine, newspaper, books. They review it before it is being published to the audience, to the world. So it passed through some process, And that process is where the editors comes in after you've done your work, like putting your content together and in a distance. So editors comes in before the publisher just publish it. So it's more of them. So there are some different aspects in graphics. So this one is also one of them. Can you move on, please? So marketing and advertising is more of advertising our work, like using the flyers to present, showcase the work. So for awareness, yeah. So in this aspect, marketing designer work with companies owners, directors, managers, or marketing professionals to create assets or marketing strategy. So it's more of the flyers that the flyers will be the one that will make the awareness. From that flyers, people will know, okay, this is what this organization, this brand is trying to say. So it's make awareness to your brand. So design can specialize in specific types of media or create a broad assortment. So or can use is either the print one when you print it out, or you can use one of them digital. So it depends on what you want to use the flyer for. So and in the tech world now is more of digital than printing. So and the examples of this marketing and advertising graphics, that's the poster card, the flyers, the magazine, the brochure. So brands, the banner, and the posters. So it's more of giving you what you want them to see. In this example, is a food menu. So this menu flyer just like telling us what you're gonna get from that flyer, the price of the food and the likes, the kind of food they do in their this thing. So it's more of you can have a different kind of flyers that you can use for your awareness, for your marketing, just like the one we used to do in Green Hub that we designed, then the marketing team just take it up from there. So it's graphic design also work with marketing teams. So that's more of this thing, because flyers make awareness for them to be able to make the awareness. So packaging graphics design is this is the process of the packaging. After the flyer, then when you're through with the flyer, then for you to present it, you can use a mock-up to present this. So in terms of using mock-up, you can use any kind of mock-up. You can use the beverage, you can use the bag for a mock-up. So to just present your work after you have done, because when you use flyer, like the one I showed the other time, flyers just show you, okay, this is it. But for it to be more appealing, that you can see more clearly, I did this for myself. Before I did this, I use a flyer, just like designing through the flyer. Then I now use a mock-up to bring this on out like this. So they specialize in specific types of packaging, like label or privilege, just like what I'm saying here. So packaging must stand out, yes, because it's different from flyer. So it's standing out. Most attracts the customer to choose the products, yes, because when you achieve with the flyer and you present it like this, it will be more appealing. So people want to, okay, this is what the product is all about. Okay, next one. Okay, environmental graphics design is more of decorating the space, more of decorating the environment. So when you're using people that are specialized in this environmental graphic design really design the areas, just like space. So it's examples of these people that are really like the office wall, like a conference room, designing the wall mostly, and maybe a stadium brand, or maybe a museum or exhibitions, all those kind of places that are very big. Like you can just design you can design your work on the wall. So that's people really specialize on that, and it's more far, because like this example here, you can see the wall is design here is very, very much unlike the one of the flyer. So there are people that are really specialized on this thing. Next one. So this one is user interface. So yeah, people said is user interface more of a graphics stuff. Yeah, they are, because in anything, user interface is they specialize in designing. Yes, so is how okay, yeah, is process of design interface to make them easy to use. Okay, yes, and provide the user friendly experience. So it is a UI design job to balance aesthetic appealing with the technical functionality. Yes, they work closely with UX. So okay, this is the process of UX. UX make the research from the onset, the brainstorming, the questionnaires, the survey, everything. So it's the work of the UX. But after the UX have done their work, then that's when the UI, that's a user interface, comes in to design what the UX have done to that research. So they now use that research to make their own work. So after then, that's when we can see it. And even though the UI have done the work, it is not still functioning because it also goes through a process called programming. That's when the app or the website can now function. So examples of this are the web page design, the game interface app design, just like this one is the mobile app. So that is another area of the graphic design. And again, they use more of graphic design principles to do their work for UI. So that is the next slide, please. So this one is a motion graphics design. Motion graphics is just like in form of a movement, yes. So let's say it can be found across the digital platform, which has created all sorts of new areas and opportunity. Motion graphic designer begin by developing storyboard and then bringing their concept to life with animation videos and then traditional art, just like this one. You see this one closely, there's the hand waving. So the uncommon here is like movement. So that's the difference between what I've been showing you earlier on, that this one is in terms of motions. So there are some people too that specialize on this area. There's submotion. So that, and examples of them just like video game, the logo, yeah, animated logos. Yes. So those are examples, and this one to degree. So like that. Next slide. Next slide. Art and illustration is more of using illustrations to do your design. Then we can use this image for design too. So there are some people that are really specialized on this. Their work is just to draw. Like after the story, then they draw, they bring it out. So design creates composition to communicate and solve problems. Um, they their art takes the numbers of forms from fine art to decoration. So more of drawing is there, and story, yes, content. After the story, then you bring up something, draw. That's mostly what they do. They draw. Instead of you going to the free pick and selecting which something of this, people that are specialized on it, they draw it and send it there so that we can use it. So the like with writers, editors, manager, marketers, and arts directors. So some of these like that. And just like the one of the motion too, is also more of it, but the difference between that one that we saw now is because it is now in motion. So this one is not in motion. That's the difference between the two of them there. So that's just it. So next slide. Yeah, I think this is where we're gonna stop. So any question? Thank you for listening.
All right, thank you very much, Sophia. Do you have any question? Okay, Mr. Mike Alex, that's your question.
Okay, Sophia, thank you very much for that. I learned a lot. It's very, very packed. It's very packed. And you mentioned something about motion graphic design. How much do you think we've adopted it in Nigeria? Do you think we are making the best use of motion graphic design? And do you think also that we have enough motion graphic designers in Nigeria? Because I feel a lot of us are running to either the art and illustration, or we are going to the Photoshop and Corel Draw. And a lot of people don't, should I say the ones I know though, I'm not saying, I don't know the whole of Nigeria and all the graphic designers in it, but a lot of people are not in that field. So do you think from your own, because you have more network in that field, do you think we have people actually doing this enough? Then, I don't know, I've asked two questions. So the third one is about whenever you have a job, you've been given a job, how do you rate it that you are successful in that job? How do you handle your, let me just say your clients? Because you as a graphic designer, you design something, it's beautiful to you and all that. And then your client tells you, this is not what I want. Even when, you as a professional, you've designed it to be something so beautiful, so attractive. And the person says this low, how do you handle such situations?
Okay, to answer your question, the motion design graphics that, yeah, we have them a lot. Is okay, all these advertising, like when they want to advertise a brand, I don't know, maybe you used to see on TV that they used to talk when advertising your this thing. I don't think maybe you understand what I'm saying. When
Yeah, I do. I see them, but I don't
them,
enjoy. I don't enjoy them. The ones from Nigeria, I don't like.
you
I
don't
see.
like,
I see some on TVC, and I'm like, is this a cartoon or what is this?
yes, they're also motion, yeah, they're also motion, and it also passed through the storyboard like that. I can remember that my first this thing that I went to when I wanted to apply for this graphics designer this thing was emotion company like that. So that's what they really specialize on. Yes, we have them a lot. And all these, it just I don't take this thing, because what we see mostly is flyers like that, all these illustrations. So people doesn't really know illustration, but it is now like people are using it too often now. So emotions too is, we have people that are specialized in this thing. A lot of like all these animated this thing. People that use this, that work with all these motion graphics, are the one that work with all these explainer, 3D explainer, all these white board and this thing, all these Benami, all these apps, they'll use them. So more of them, they also use anything videos that comes up with videos, video editing, all these things, motions. But because this one is in form of an illustration, that's why it's different from, okay, when people are talking. So when people are talking, like just making awareness, all this work for graphics is awareness, marketing, that's more of it. So we have it in Nigeria. Yes, we have them a lot. We have them. And your next question is, how would I well, fine, there's no how you don't have feedback. So that's just it. And there's no design that even the people that are experts in this, very, very expert, that still having feedback, because this is what I want. I mean, let's say, okay, as I said, user, yeah, you need to take your audience along, because you think maybe what you design is the best, but people telling you that, okay, this and this, then you have to make, that's why we grow. All those feedback that we collect, what makes us grow. So it's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. Because even we don't even, some people don't even think, okay, the simplest now you did, the inspiration, where is it coming from? But what they want is that this is what I want for my work, and that's it. And there's no how you will not have feedback. There's no how, even though it is positive or negative, you have to accept it and work towards it. It's just that the difference is just that when you know that this thing is okay, you just tell them that okay, this is okay for this, okay. Because they want that one that really know what they want people to first see in their work. Is it the money aspect? Is it the contact? Or is it so you just doing your design? If you don't ask all those questions, you will not know. Just like, okay, these are the things that need to be the hierarchy first. So when you work on that, then there is no how they want, maybe they want another thing to be the hierarchy, to be what people will first target. So there's no how you don't have feedback. There's no how. Just that it depends on people doesn't really like having feedback, negative feedback, let me say that. Because the process of having this feedback is just for you to grow. That's more of what I can say about that.
All right, thank you very much. Actually, I remember the question that I was trying to ask, because now that you are presenting, I want to use the opportunity to ask you all the questions I've been having on graphic design. So you thought about UI UX. Yes. And it was something that before I got into tech, like really into tech, I admired it a whole lot. But in your explanation, I heard you saying something about UX, having to get your facts right, having to do the researches and all that. And then they give it to the UI who actually, puts it into something that everyone can see and all that relates to. So why is the UX now a designer? Why do we call the UX person a designer when most of what he does is more researches and, having to know how people feel about a particular maybe product or how it should look like and all that?
Okay, find that they are in that space. We're also a designer. Because it is okay. Now I want to use this what they used to call it, a Google form. I will still need to design it to bring it out. So there are some process that okay, I need to, there's no how that they are not being called a designer because they're still working on with them. It's not it does not depend that I can give my work to UI designer. I can also be a UI designer and also be a UX designer. So that's how it works. It's just that the work is mostly from the UX. They're the one that really make the work, that they go more of researching. Designing a interface is not really hard like that, but the hard part is the UX, and that's why some people run from that, and that's where the money comes in. Even though you can't just be a UI designer and have your cool money, you have to also know about UX to make that thing happen. And you can say most is not really this thing. So they're also called designer because there are some aspects to that they need to go in. Yes, in designing their what they want to use for these questionnaires is also one of them. So they're also designer now. Yes.
Okay, no problem. So what tools do they use that is different?
I have a question, Mr. Alex.
Because she's just the way she's explaining this thing, she's just betting other question.
I have one
please let
question.
other person ask a question, please.
Okay. Well, they use Figma, they use Pijam. Yes, they use Miro to do. Yes, they use Miro too for their work.
Actually, I have more questions than Mr. Alex, but I'm going to ask one.
Yeah, ask now, no problem.
Okay. I just want to know which one is better. Is it customer satisfaction or professional work. And let me explain what I mean by that.
Okay.
You as a graphic designer, you know that you are not supposed to have like lots of color in a design. You have to be consistent. From what some of the things you explained, you know that you should not have more than like 2 or 3 fonts in a design. And you will see all these local clients. They will just come, they are going to bring design, they will see colors everywhere, they'll just pack everything all together and say, this is exactly what I want. And you know that if them as a client, they might not be the user of the platform, might not be the user, but they are the one paying you the money at that point in time. But you know that if this kind of design is showcased to the world, to their user, maybe, or to whatever client they are going to be showcasing it, you know that this is not going to be nice, but they are insisting that this is what I want, this is what I need, I'm the one paying the money. What do you do?
Okay. In terms like that, you need to sit them down. From what you know, tell them, okay, this and that. We can still use this. You can still stay with 3 colors or 3 fonts. It's just that we will use monochromatic way to do it. So it will not be as if it is a lot of colors there. So we can use 2 colors and you just sit them down, explain some things that they don't really understand to them. Yes, because some of them, when when they give you work like this, I feel like maybe they know what they are doing, but when you start having words with them, you understand that they don't really understand it. So you sit them down, let them understand it. Then if they still insist, okay, this is what I want to use, fine. It's just that you will not use that. You will not use their own work for your own portfolio. Let them, because fine, you've done your right. You've told them this and this, but the things, okay, I need. And again, that's why we have color palettes. So you can use color palette too. Color palette can be 5 colors in it. It can be 4 colors. So all those palettes, they works well in hand. Yes, they work well. It's just that the way you use them, that's what really differs. The way you use them.
My
Some people
my
that
my
use,
question, sorry,
I don't
like
get your
which
question.
which one supersede, customer satisfaction or professional work?
Ah, it's customer, because even though, let me go back to that UI/UX. After the design aspect, that's when the user stability comes in, that testing. Is the customer, the husband that will test it now. And if they don't have nice this thing to it, that work it has not been succeeded. So customer, this thing, or professional aside, professional is just your work that you do to the taste, but the most what you want is your customer to really accept it. So that's more of what it is there. It's the customer, yeah, customer.
No problem, thank you.
Just like a market, they say customer are always right. So that's how it is, yeah.
No problem, thank you very much. Thank you for today's presentation.
You're welcome.
Mr. Michael, you can push your question to we had
I have a question.
you have a
Okay, what
question.
Can you,
Please, let's
yeah,
we
so
have
please
we have
can you just briefly I don't know, maybe more practical way. What is UI? What is UX?
was
Sophia.
okay, UI is designing.
Sophia, you have
Design,
1 minute. You have 1 minute.
yeah, they just design the interface. Then UX is making the research. They are the behind the scene work. That's behind the scene work of UX. Yes. Making the research is for the UX. Going through the brainstorming, empathy, all this kind of thing. That's the UX. That's their work. But UI are the one that designed the interface. All these apps that we're using is from the UI that are the one that designed those apps. Yes. And it can also be a UI and US. You can do the same thing, the two at the same time also. So it's another that you need to go and give a work to UI. Yeah, can also be a UI UX. So you can be the two of them.
So like the UX is like the back end, why the UI is the front
The
end.
front,
That's the
yes.
way I can
Yes.
think.
All right, thank you very much, Sophia. If you still have more questions, please you can message her via DM, or maybe on the main KD channel you can just drop your questions. She's going to answer to them. So thank you very much for joining today's KD session. See you guys tomorrow.
All right,
Enjoy the
thank
rest.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.